Kratos is a warrior who works for the gods of Olympus, the Greek pantheon. In flashbacks it is seen that he was once a successful but vicious captain in the Spartan army. He led his warriors to multiple triumphs before being defeated by a barbarian king. However, he eventually fell from power. Kratos, who was about to die, prayed to Ares, the god of war, and made a pact with the deity that he would serve him if Ares would just spare his warriors and give them the ability to defeat their foes. Ares gives his blessing, and then he bound the Blades of Chaos to his new servant. These blades are chained together, and they were made deep within Tartarus. The head of the barbarian monarch was then severed by Kratos, who was armed with the swords. Ares ordered Kratos to start a war, and Kratos finally led an assault on a settlement that was inhabited by people who worshipped Athena. Ares had sent Kratos' wife and daughter to the hamlet in stealth, unbeknownst to Kratos. During Kratos' frantic assault on the village's temple, Kratos accidentally killed his wife and daughter in his rage against the temple. Kratos, who was horrified and grieved by the event, instead repudiated his oath of devotion to the god of Ares and swore revenge against him. Ares had anticipated that this act would release Kratos to become the perfect warrior. Instead, Kratos had the opposite reaction. The oracle of the destroyed village placed a curse on Kratos, which consisted of fusing the ashes of his deceased family members to his flesh. As a result, his complexion became ash white, and he became known as the Ghost of Sparta. Kratos, who was tormented by images of his heinous act, made a solemn oath to serve the other gods in the belief that this would free him from his night terrors. At the beginning of the game, Kratos had already spent 10 years in service to the gods. Despite having grown weary of his suffering and dedication to Poseidon, he decides to kill the Hydra on the god's behalf. He calls upon Athena, and she tells Kratos that if he commits one final act, the death of Ares, he will be forgiven for the murders he committed against his family. Ares had declared war on the city of Athens because he despises his sister Athena. Athena has given Kratos the mission of destroying Ares because Zeus has forbade divine intervention in the conflict. Kratos arrives in ravaged Athens with the assistance of Athena. Kratos has a weird meeting with the gravedigger who urges him to continue his work, and then he fights his way to Athens' oracle. Once he reaches her, he finds out that the only way to beat Ares is with Pandora's box, a legendary relic that grants the power to kill a god. When Kratos arrives in the Desert of Lost Souls, Athena informs him that the location of Pandora's box is a temple that is bound to the back of the titan Kronos, as a punishment from Zeus for Kronos' role in the Great War. After invoking Kronos, climbing for 3 days before reaching the temple door, overcoming an assortment of lethal traps and battling an army of demons, Kratos is finally successful in locating the box. Kratos dies when Ares, who was aware of his former servant's achievements, throws a massive pillar at him as he is exiting the temple of Zeus. Kratos is dragged down into the underworld by the Harpies as they carry the box to Ares. He fights his way through the burning land of the dead, and with the assistance of the strange gravedigger, who reveals to him that Athena is not the only god watching over him, he is able to escape and make his way back to Athens. Kratos is able to steal Pandora's box back from Ares, opens it, and then utilizes its power to transform himself into a god so that he can fight Ares in an intense battle. Kratos triumphs over Ares and kills him with the Blade of the Gods, a gigantic blade that was being used as an ornamental bridge to Athens. Despite Ares' best efforts to destroy Kratos both physically and emotionally, including stripping him of all weapons and magic and then forcing him to relive the death of his family, Kratos prevails over Ares and kills him with the Blade of the Gods. After the city is rescued, Athena reveals to Kratos that the gods are unable to rid him of his nightmares despite the fact that his sins have been pardoned. After being abandoned by the gods, he makes an attempt to end his life by throwing himself into the Aegean Sea. However, Athena prevents this from happening and instead brings him to Mount Olympus. Kratos receives a brand new pair of blades and the right to sit in the seat of the god of war from Athena as a prize for the services he has rendered to the gods. And that is the story of the first God of War game. Thank you for listening, and I will see you next time.